In this video, we're going to go over the Chapter 3 Vertical Geometry individual exercise number 2, where we create a Route 63 profile. And so far we've already, in step number 1, we have already opened the civil geometry file. Number 2, it wants us to verify that our terrain model is active still. And so if I just hover over this, hover over the boundary of the terrain model, I can see that I have the clear active terrain model icon. That means that the terrain model is active. The next couple steps want us to open up the profile model, and probably the easiest way to do that is by just clicking on the alignment itself, going to the open profile model icon. I'm going to select view 8, and in view 8 we have the Road1 profile in there, and so we're going to go ahead and click in that view to place the Route 63 profile view. And all we have in the Route 63 is an existing ground profile. We haven't created the profile, and that's what we're going to do in this exercise. And in this exercise it says we can create this profile any which way we want. We can throw out a rough profile and then go in and fix the information, or you can use the Civil AccuDraw tool and lay out the profile that way. And so you can do it whichever way you want, but they do want us to use the profile complex by VPI, and so we're going to go back and we will use Civil AccuDraw to lay out this profile. And so we're going to go to our vertical geometry tools. We're going to go to the second icon in the 4th row, which is Profile Complex by VPI. And so we're going to click on that, and you can see we have Civil AccuDraw going. You can see it in my heads-up display, and we're going to look at our chart over here. And our first VPI is at station 9 plus 50 and an elevation of 844.71. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just snap to the beginning of my existing ground alignment, because I know that's at 8 plus 50, and if I have to, I'll adjust the elevation. Okay. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to just kind of accu-snap over to this location here, and I'm just going to see the beginning elevation is not quite 8 plus 50, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Civil AccuDraw to place it out there at that exact location. So the station is going to be 9 plus 50. I'm going to lock that in, and I'm going to move, and you can see it locks into that station value, and the elevation needs to be 844.71. So I'm going to I'm going to type in 844.71. I'm going to enter that, and if I move my cursor, it's a little bit below the existing ground line. I just want to double check my elevation, 844.71, and that's exactly what we have, 844.71. I'm going to start my line at that location. And then we need to go to 23 plus 50 for the station. And so I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit and kind of move over to where it's roughly 23 plus 50, somewhere in there. And so I'm going to type in 23 plus 50 for my station. I'm going to verify that that's what I need, 23 plus 50. And then my elevation is going to be 820.21. And so I can see that my station's locked in. And now I'm going to type in my elevation, 820.21. I'm going to lock that in. I'm going to move my cursor, and I'm going down at that grade there. And I'm going to accept that VPI location. Now I'm going to continue on down, and I'm going to put in my next VPI, and that's at 35 plus 10. And so I'm going to just kind of hover out there, get it in my station field there, 35 plus 10. I'm going to enter that in. I'm going to move my cursor, make sure it's looking like it's locking in right where it should be. And what I got to worry about now is that first vertical curve. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go tab down to where it says vertical curve, and I'm going to put in the right length for that, and it should be 410. 410. So I'm going to type in, we had 400. That was close, but not exact. And now we got 410 in there, and the next thing I'm going to put in for this is the third VPI, and we have a positive back rate of 50.50%. And so we're going to put in a grade in there, and the way you do that is use your right arrow keys until you get slope. And so we're going to put in a positive grade of 0.5 and enter that in. And once you have that in there, we're going to go ahead and accept that location for our VPI. And then we're going to put in our next VPI location. Again, we got to worry about that curve length for that second curve, and that needs to be, for that curve length, needs to be 275 feet. And so we're going to put in 275 for that next curve. So I'm going to type in 275 and enter that in. And then we need to put in the station value of 57 plus 90. 57 plus 90. So I'm going to tab on up and type in 57 plus 90 and lock that in and move my cursor. You can see it's locked in on that station value now. And let's see what information we have left here. At that, we have a back rate of 2%. And so we're going to, instead of using Z, I'm going to go down to where it says curve length, and I'm going to tab and tab, and we're going to put in a slope. And again, that's going to be a slope of 2%. And so I'm going to type in 2 and enter. And you can see I'm up there now, and that's a good location for my next VPI. The length of curve of 275 is still valid for that second VPI or third VPI, and so I'm going to accept that location there. And what we need to go now is we need to go with 70 plus 79. And so I'm going to kind of scoot on down a little bit. I'm going to type in 70 plus 79. I'm going to enter that in. It's right there. I'm going to worry about that length of curve on that previous VPI that I stored, and that needs to be 725. And so I'm going to go down to my curve length and type in 725, enter that in, and now I'm going to define my other piece of information at this station of 70 plus 79. It needs to be an elevation of 859.80. 859.80. So I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to type in 859.80. 859.80 and enter that in. I'm going to move my cursor, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and then I'm going to right-click to get out of the tool. So that's how I defined this profile. If I did make a mistake on one of my vertical curves or grades, I could come back at this point in time and modify it if I needed to. Again, I think they want us in this exercise, let me check real quick, they want us to create a profile report so it matches what's on the next page. And so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on Profile Report. You can take a look at this report, compare it to what's in the manual. The manual has the report printed out in there as well. Okay, and so that's all there is to laying out this profile. Again, I think probably Simple AccuDraw is one of the easier ways to do it. But again, if you didn't like Simple AccuDraw, you could just rough in a profile and then go back and fix the values. Okay.